Hello, dynamic stars. How are you? Welcome to the channel. It is Azurite 22 coming to you, as always, to bring your intuition to the fore, to bring you more into your life. I am back today with a new video. We are going to start a series called Metu Neter Talks. You've probably seen me with my Metu Neter cards. You remember I lost them and then I got them back. So in this period of me readjusting to having them back, there's a reason why they came back at this time, right? Yes, I actively went looking for them, but I didn't get them until I reconnected with a very good friend of mine, a very old friend of mine, who never left me. Has always had direct, straight connection and studied it to like the hilt, okay? It's not lost on me. So I realized that I need to reconnect myself back to the thing that started me on this whole spiritual path. I don't need the Metu Neter. I need the connection to something greater, which is what I was losing sight of. All of that said, Metu Neter Talks is going to be, those are videos where spirit deities come and say, we want you to do a reading. And whatever that reading is, that's what's going to be the video. And that's exactly what this is, because I started meditating like, I want to know what this first video is going to be about, because I've been away for so long. I feel like I need to do something very specific. And all I kept hearing was, do a reading, do a reading. And I'm like, let's do a reading on what this video is about. And that reading was Het-Heru 2 tchaas, Geb 10 tchaas. And I also did the I Ching, because, when I was taught this system, we did both the Metu Neter and the I Ching. And that is, I Ching was 33rd hexagram into 45. The idea behind this, just to give you an understanding moving forward, the Metu Neter covers wide ranges of topics within that deity. Which area of that deity is being really pinpointed? And that's what the I Ching focuses upon. So this 33, which is retreat, into gathering together 45, lines 3 and 6 are stressed, because the I Ching is made up of 6 lines, 2 trigrams. So each of those lines has a different little story, if you will, within the whole picture. So 3 and 6 are the little pictures that I'm going to focus on for this reading, just so you understand what we're doing. So when I see Het-Heru 2, Geb 10, I'm automatically going, are we looking at relationships? Because Het-Heru, Oshun, known in another tradition, you know the tradition, she's about relationships. She's about feeling good, looking good, smelling good, taking care of yourself. The passion, the joy, the energy that you put into a thing. It's the engine that pushes things, right? She is that joy. Without that joy pushing that thing, guess what? We have stagnation. We have, I don't want to do that. No, not today. All of that kind of stuff, because we have disturbances in that engine of joy, right? So with this retreat now, retreat is literally what it sounds like. You have to stop on your forward movement and kind of go, all right, we gotta take a step back. This is not the right situation for us. But you can't just run. That's not retreat, that's just escape. Retreat is when you are in full possession of your power and actually voluntarily thinking, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and then you strategically pull back. It's like when an army retreats. Do they just haul ass and run away? Okay, we're not going to talk about that. No, there is an order. The general gets together and sits down and formulates a plan, and there's a retreat. This regiment is going to leave over here, and this is going to leave over there, and so on and so forth. Everybody in an orderly fashion. And there's a time period. Not saying that you are to be that regimented, but you are to be that strategic in figuring out what is happening in this situation and how you can pull back. I wanted to read, I'll read this one first because I'm going to do what I learned and how I learned it first. There's this huge behind book where it's called, and it doesn't matter what it's called. So years ago, there was a bunch of lectures done, and the lectures broke down these hexagrams. And what I loved is it was so clear in how to think about this. Retreat. Retreat is not to be confused with flight. That's what it says in this book. Flight means saving oneself under any circumstance, whereas retreat is a sign of strength. All right, this book is called, for those of you who are interested, the I Ching, or Book of Changes, the Richard Wilhelm translation, 1950. This is talking about your state of mind. This is how you retreat. Are you scatterbrained? Are you wild? Are you crazy? Are you just like and just frantic? No, you have your wits about you. You are calm. You are kind of breathing and paying attention to what is happening. That is the manner in which you're supposed to retreat. Because anything else, you're not going to see the signs. You're not going to be retreating. You're going to be running. This is not that. You are to just focus on key things. Your safety. Your possessions. The things that mean the most to you. Because when we're retreating, you have to have a plan for all of those things. So retreat, you're thinking about it right now. So whatever it is you're going through, the Metu Neter and I Ching are saying, this is not the right situation for you. There's challenges in it. You're stuck. You're in a no-win situation. The only way you're going to be able to get through this situation is by pulling back. And the way you pull back is by being smart, by being strategic, by thinking about all of the things that are important to you. How are you going to get to work? How are you going to feed yourself? How are you going to clothe yourselves, the kids, childcare, all of the things that are very important. You also have to think about your rest. How can you ensure you rest well? Because if you are thinking about retreating from a situation, Maybe your mind is just going 99,000 miles an hour. How do you do that? You're going to have to use some self-care in here. You're going to have to really get to the point where you are, all right, let me take 5 before I do anything. Let me sleep on it before I make any rash decisions. That is retreat. Retreating orderly and at the right time applies to all readings of the 33rd hexagram, no matter what. I'm going to get to the third hexagram, the third line. The third line says, a halted retreat is a nerve-wracking and dangerous. To retain people as men and maid servants bring good fortune. That don't make sense, right? Maids, men servants, what the heck? That was an old reference to how ancient China was done, because the I Ching is a Chinese, a very, very, very old divination system of the Chinese. And this is going back to something that they did. Indentured servitude is what they were referring to. So if you have these indentured servants and they're not quite, ready for you to go, ready for you to pull back, how are you supposed to pull back, right? And that is the exact thing that we did not see in this book, because the same author wrote this book, but a key part of it is rituals, and that's the main thing. Rituals, what the heck is that? You visualizing yourself, you projecting out into the world the things that you want for you. This is not about you bad-mouthing the person, talking about them, or the company, or the organization, or the business. This is none of that. This is all about you taking care of you. What do you need to do to totally be in full control of all of your senses and all of yourself? Let's take, for example, you're at a job and you're having some interpersonal challenges with, people there. But, maybe it's because you've been sick or somebody in your family was sick and it's creating tension there. But this has been going on for quite some time now. So now, this is coming down to the wire. It might be, them asking me to go or I go on my own. What is best? In this situation, it doesn't seem like it's going to go right. So you're going to have to retreat. But you're not just going to throw all hands up. You're going to try your best to stabilize the situation. Whoever the sick person in the family was, yourself or a family member, see if you can now, for a short term, get somebody in to help you so you can take care of the responsibilities that you have there. Or if you already have a person that you've been leaning on real heavy, you're have to try and find somebody else, because this situation is a codependent thing that's happening, right? You're very dependent upon somebody. So you have to pull that dependence back because you're retreating. So how does that look? How does that work? And that's where you have to, one, sit down and reflect on your situation. Once you have a good sense, an inner understanding of what's happening in your situation and how you have added to that situation. Because that's the thing. A lot of times, you got our part too. It's our story, their story, and the truth, right? What is the truth? What did you do? If you didn't do anything, okay, but we always do something. Really, even if you don't admit it to anybody else, you got to admit it to yourself. Once you have a really good understanding, then now you can begin projecting out the things that you want, doing the ritual to Het-Heru, and asking for her guidance, asking for her sweetness, asking her to give you beautiful thoughts and ideas, beautiful visualizations to help you overcome the challenge, the immediate challenge of how to pull back so you're not quite so dependent upon that person, thing, place, etc. Once you have pulled back a little bit, you know what that also is going to do? That's also helping you to reduce some of the energies that you have regarding the situation. You're not going to be as trigger happy and be like, oh, but you said, you're not going to do that. Because now you've gotten some insight, some inner kind of stuff, and you're going, okay. Don't have to apologize right now to anybody. This is not what this is. If you feel an apology is needed, so be it. But right now, this is you working out how you're going to pull back by looking at your stuff. And then, oh, there's a part that I know that I missed something here. Retreat until the conditions that support pressing forward are present. It's very interesting that this book, the big book I was talking about, and this book were written decades apart. And there are different understandings showing the level of, insight that was received over the course of thousands and thousands of readings that Ra Un Nefer had. So, dua to him and his ancestors for all of the work that he has put in to these wonderful teachings that are helping us to move forward. You are advised to engage in a strategic withdrawal because the environmental ingredients for success are not present, or you are not adequately prepared. That is the new iteration of, this, the way it's put together. You're not prepared. Do you not have the skills for the for the job? Did they bring in maybe some new software or a new way of doing something at your job, at your church, in the organization you work with, in your business? Are you starting a marketing plan that you're just not comfortable with? So your creative juices are shriveling up because now you've got this worry because you have to learn something new or do something. Go ahead and stop, learn that thing, get used to the idea of life is a continuum of change. It's never going to stay stagnant. That's not its purpose. Because part of what your challenge is maybe you're stuck on, I need it to stay exactly this way and I don't want it to change ever because it's perfect this way. Nothing is ever perfect. Nothing. So how do we move forward? By going within, pulling back, try to not be so dependent, and making stuff happen in a different way. In a way that suits your new understanding of what's happening. Line 3, again from this book. I'll read it, pull it open so you can see. I just wrote notes down to make it easier. Line 3. If you are in a situation in which you cannot rid yourself of troublesome people because of your dependency on them, do your best to limit your dependence and remain firm in peace and joy. Again, the state of mind in which you do it. So no bad talking, no talking smack to them, none of that stuff. It's not about them. It's about you and what you need to do to make sure you are good moving forward. Line 6, cheerful retreat is what Wilhelm says on that. It's cheerful. So again, the state in which you do it has to be one of peace. You have to have some base level of contentment. And that's why this line is so powerful. It says in here, successful retreat depends on inner detachment. Meditate not on the issue, but on yourself. The one who needs to retreat from your attachment to the issue or situation, it's not them, it's you. So in line 6, Wilhelm talks about honorable withdrawal, or Chu and Cheryl, another book, which I don't have. At the top of the hexagram, the withdrawal is complete. All external impediments have been discarded, and the right inner way has been found from which external good comes by itself. These persons will be found in many walks of life. They will know that the rendering of service to others is a part of the will of the Creator, and they will not strive for gain with selfish or egotistical motives. Their purpose will mainly be to help others using their own capacities to the maximum. This line really wants you to focus on you. Remember how in the third line, you were supposed to kind of like try to be less dependent and kind of bring yourself to a place where you're understanding the situation that was going on and your part in it and how you can kind of take your part out. This line is like, forget the situation. The situation is done and over. You know what's really going to bring you full retreat? You have to detach from the actual attachment to whatever that thing is. Because once you are okay with that situation, once you understand its purpose, its reason d'etre, all of that, you can now just pull your energy out of that situation so that you can move on. So an example is, you know how some people, midlife crisis, they go crazy, and you hear the story, guys go out and buy these expensive cars to try and recapture those years. That is the epitome of attachment, firm attachment to an idea and a thought and a feeling. This top line is asking us to do completely the opposite. We're feeling the feels of, oh my God, midlife is hitting me. I'm losing everything. I'm losing my hair. I'm losing my whatever, sexuality, virility, beauty, whatever it is. Let's take that example. What do? Instead of going out and buying more stuff and, all of the things to make us feel and look like we did 20, 30 years ago, what do we have to do? We have to sit down. We have to breathe. We have to release the energy in the body. Because that's that gem. That thing, it's making us like, oh my God. I've got to go to the store. I got to do something. I got to make myself look. There are 1,000,001 videos, meditative videos, guided meditations that you can do to at least stop that heavy duty emotion, right? Once you do that, now you can breathe. Deep breathing, maybe just put on some high frequency music at this point after you've gone through a guided meditation to bring you some peace. And now think about, so why am I so upset about fill in the blank? Getting older, not having this job, wanting a new career, wanting a baby again after a decade, whatever it is. Why do I want this thing? What am I trying to get? And try to find out really what's motivating you. Once you understand what that inner attachment is, what that thing that you're holding on to like this with, then now you can kind of understand your underlying, bringing the subconscious to the fore. This is also your attachment style. I'll link something below here so you can check what your attachment style is in the world. This is a way that you, during your early years, your formative years, you learn through interactions in your family and friendships how to communicate, how to latch on to people around you. Your attachment style may very well be what's holding you very tightly into this situation. And once you have conscious knowledge of this, you'll be able to, oh, okay. So what's pushing me is, I wasn't able to connect properly with, my parents. And because I didn't have a secure attachment to my parents, now I'm latching on to all of the people around me because I'm needing this love. Maybe that's what it is. That could be why you're in a situation like this. Because that, even though it could be a work situation, feeling needed and wanted is a valid thing at work. For many people, going to work is the thing that they do, and they put all of their heart into it because they get an emotional kickback and they don't even realize it. And this is why the Oracle is telling you, you gotta get down to the core of why you're doing what you're doing. Because once you know why, it will be easy to retreat because you can see it. You can find a replacement that you are consciously deciding. That is a strategic retreat when you know why you're stopping doing something, because now you will not want to go back. I mean, you could also even say this could be even for weight loss or weight gain, because maybe you're losing weight desperately because you want, fill in the blank, this man over here, this girl over here, whatever. And if you're skinny enough, they'll love you. But it's love you're looking for, not necessarily them. And once you understand that you're looking for love, now you can begin giving yourself the love and doing the things for your own self-love, doing things to show yourself that you love you, so that you're not doing the eating or the not eating to satisfy them. You have to really get deep. This reading is not a simple thing. This reading is actually looking at our thoughts. Another example would be the whole idea of beauty. My girlfriend and I, we were just talking about it. We have these talks sometimes. We go off on these tangents. Natural beauty. What the heck is natural beauty? Back in the day, natural beauty was you wash your face, maybe you put on some lip gloss or just, Vaseline, and you walk out the door. That was natural beauty. Today, natural beauty means something completely different. What is your attachment style to beauty? That is a whole conversation, because that actually fits perfectly in with Het-Heru 2 Geb 10. Are you putting yourself in debt to look beautiful, to look naturally beautiful? Because naturally beautiful, and I am not shading anybody in any way, shape, or form, because I am an older woman, mature woman, also going through this. So I understand the struggle. In fact, full transparency, my GF and I, she has one idea and I had the other. I'm like, look, I'm covering all my grades. I'm gonna do this, I don't care. Because for me, that was what I saw growing up. That was something that I learned, that, you stay as young and youthful looking as possible. But is that the truth of who you are? And that is also part of this. This hexagram, this reading can translate into so many different areas. And to finish off just that thought with the whole natural beauty, that is a very big deal, because in this culture, if we are, let me back up a second. Given this reading, the context of this reading, if we're talking about natural beauty, the challenge would be, what is natural beauty to you? The dependency, if you will, in that situation is, you might be dependent upon all of these products in order for you to interface with the world, in order to show your face. Literally, this could be a very literal example of that. And you don't feel comfortable walking out the door with everything on. But why? Who is the inner you? And the flip could also be the case. What if you are staunch and I go out there natural, I don't need all of that stuff because God made me, or, however, whatever iteration that looks at. Either position, what is your belief? What is the foundational belief? What are you attached to? Because this reading is asking you to step back from it and take a look at it and literally come to an understanding of what truth is and function from that. Because first we're looking at retreating from this situation. So maybe either put on a little lip gloss before you walk out the door, or take off one layer, or not use a highlighter or a concealer or whatever. Pull back a little bit. Pull back a little bit. So pull back from the staunchness, because it is not all bad to wear some makeup. Maybe some days you need an enhancement, or you feel like you need a boost. It's not a bad thing. It's a way of looking at the world, not in absolutes, but from your personal truth, and retreating from the things that do not serve you. Do not serve you becoming the best that you can be. Because ultimately, this reading wants you to change the situation that you're in, because it's not serving you, because you have these beliefs that are causing you to function in a way that is not true, that's keeping you in situations that is not a good situation for yourself. And the only way to extract yourself from it is by recognizing what those things are and stepping back strategically from them based upon your inspection of who you are, what you're really about, what things are important to you, and how you want your life to be. So that is the reading. So this is the Metu Neter Talks. And I guess this is the Metu Neter Talks of independence. Independent from your inner attachments. Because once you free yourself internally, you can do anything. You can go anywhere. You can be anyone. You can reshape and reform your life. So, hope you enjoyed this reading, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.